What's up, guys? It's Devin of That Child Gamer. Welcome back to another Doki Doki summertime video. We left it off on a very, very weird note last time. So we jumped into back into with Yuri. We impressed her last video. We ended up actually pissing off Monica, and now she's angry at us. And we met a lady who was in a car who stopped for us, even though she was about to hit us because we're stupid. Only to find out, predictably, I don't even know if it's a word or not, but I predict that that lady is Yuri's mother, because apparently when we met with Yuri to the movie theater, which is the ending off the video, she gets out of the car with the same lady that we recognized from when we almost got hit. So that's kind of like a little brief, you know, like before story. So let's jump right back into it. ... I decide to blend into what little crowd is here until the woman is gone. Good idea. Let's not let them see you and end up getting talked to. As I walk towards the movie theater, Yuri's looking around. I walk up towards her. When I see her, I can't help but give her a wide smile. I can't decide if it's because I'm anxious about our first proper date or if I'm just happy to see her. After having my favorite snack to seeing a lovely girl, everything unpleasant fades away, and I'm once again in high spirits. Ooh, I like the artwork to her clothing. That's really cool. I like the jeans and the kind of I like everything about it. Honestly, I think it's really cool when people like take the normal Sprite and make a completely new outfit. It wows me. I could never do something like that. She gives a soft smile back and a gentle wave. Hey Yuri, nice to see you again. Nice to see you too, Devin. She looks toward. She looks towards the theater. So, how was the drive here? I was reading this book, new book my mother recently gifted me. She shows me the cover, which features 4 girls in winter clothing with a Christmas tree in the background. I think I know what you're thinking. Yes, it's a Christmas story. I admit, it feels a little unusual to read a story with that subject in summer. Despite the banal, I don't even know, premise, this story is turning out to be a very enjoyable, these are big words, Yuri! I still remember your little, big word talking during freaking New Wise. That was so annoying. It was a good mod, but it just had a lot of vocabulary. A short read. After finding out this is the author's first book, I was pleasantly surprised. Sounds like you had a comfy journey. Yes, for the most part. I did have quite a scare at one point. My mother had to abruptly stop when a passerby Oh. I love how neither one of them knew it was me. That's the funny part. You'd think Yuri would know it's me, but nope. Not a clue. When a passerby ran across the road in front of us. I don't know what could drive someone to run out in the middle of the street, but it must have been pretty important. By the time I looked up, the person was gone. I should probably steer this topic to safer waters. No shit. I see. Well, I'm glad you made it here all right. By the way, have you decided on which movie you want to watch? She looks like she's going into deep thought. Well, I'm still contemplating the choices for the moment. She glances over at a few of the movie posters. She looks at 2 in particular. She tries to focus more on one, and seems like she's almost straining herself to do so. The one she's trying to focus on is called Only Phantom. From the description, it looks like it's about a ghost trying to protect his only son and his mansion from being taken over by a group of mysterious men. There are probably some fights in it that are interesting. I think Yuri may like the horror vibes I'm getting from it. The other one that she glances at is a poster of... Oh. It's the movie with BDSM. What's BDSM? Am I missing a reference here? I did not expect that. Maybe she didn't check the description underneath the poster and is basing it off of the pictures alone. Yuri? She started to slightly bite her lower lip. Oh, that's an interesting sprite. She looks really cute when she does that. I reach out my arm to touch her shoulder. I catch myself and remember that she was startled last time I did that, when she was deep in thought. Instead, I decide to step closer to her and point to the poster for Only Phantom. She stirs slightly, but doesn't jump like she did before. Oh, yes. The Only Phantom looks intriguing. She seems to be genuine with the statement, although her face is slightly red. Alright, I'll grab the tickets then. I walk up to the corner and I pay for both of our tickets. Maybe she did read the description after all. No, I'm probably missing the actual reason. I don't want to assume such things about her and her interests. When I walk back, she gives me a gentle smile. Shall we go in? Sure. Sounds great. Ooh, this looks nice. I like the look at this. That's awesome. It looks very fuzzy and bright, but it looks awesome. I love that. I wonder who made this. That's really cool artwork. We start walking towards a corridor leading to the theaters themselves. The scent of buttery popcorn fills my nose. My mouth waters as I look up from at where they make the food. They have a wide selection of snacks and meals. There's sweets like cotton candy and crepes, while the iconic popcorn has multiple flavors. Yuri, didn't you say you like crepes? I do, but I don't feel like having it today. Okay, the popcorn maybe? Yuri ponders for a moment as we hear the kernels popping in a rhythm inside the machine. Yes, preferably salty. Hope I won't make her salty too with some stupid blunder. We go up in front and I pay for the large bucket of popcorn. On the way to the theater, I see a large group of women going to the other movie available. Geez, barely a guy among them. I probably made the right call by going with the ghost story. That's funny. We walk to where our movie starts. Fortunately, by the way, I'm sorry if you hear a bunch of nose noise. My nose is really stuffy and sometimes runny. And if I had to pause to go, like, blow my nose or something like that, I do apologize for that. But I really hate my the allergy season is really, really horrible right now. And I've had this problem for like a few weeks now, so I apologize in long advance, just so that if you hear anything really gross or disturbing, I apologize. We walk to where our movie starts. Fortunately, this particular theater looks empty. Hey, Devin, do you want to sit in the back? Why do you want us to be in the back? I have a suspicion in the back of my mind that I want to be both confirmed and disproven at the same time. In my experience, the speakers up front can be quite loud. Oh, I get you. We can do that. That's totally the reason. No, but basically, I understand what she's going at, though, because like they play the movie wicked loud when you're in movie theaters, and not only that, but when you're up in the way front, you have to look up like that, and it strains your neck, especially with long movies. It's not fun to sit in the front at all. So it's like when you choose your seats and stuff, like it's always good to sit in the back if there's seats available. You'll get the most comfort and the best, quality sound that way anyway. So just keep that in mind if you want to go to the movie theater. We sit in the middle of the last row with Yuri to my right. As the camera moves to the scene of the mansion, we hear an old man narrate his story. He used to live in this house back when he was alive with his wife. He went on to build his fortune by starting up and expanding companies. At the end of their 30th anniversary, the man... You're just spoiling the whole movie for me. I know it's not a real movie, but you're just talking about it the entire way through. The man gives his wife a diamond-encrusted knife with a smooth Is that why Yuri wants to see this? Is because of the knife? Platinum handle design to be held comfortably in one hand. I have an idea of a wedding gift. That's a kind of creepy wedding gift. Now that I think about it, it's one of a kind. Just like you, my dear. Oh, there's Yuri. I look over at Yuri and I'm generally surprised at what I see. Her hands are held tightly to her chest, right over her heart. She cracks a brilliantly bright smile that glows in a more alluring way than any movie screen. My heart starts beating harder. My breathing accelerates. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank there. My head feels like a wave of fuzziness is washing over me. That happens a lot. I don't know why it does. I see her leaning forward slightly, smoothly parting her hair from her eyes as she looks towards the flashing screen. I'm sorry, I'm brain dead right now. I just got back home from like a rehearsal for graduation and having to memorize everything that needs to happen there. It kills me. I see her eyes fill with the scene, and on a closer look, I notice that her eyes are brilliantly deep violet. I can't read. They seem so bright and full of passion. They almost look like shining stars that I can make wishes upon. I slightly lean towards her and I lay my right hand an inch away from her arm. As I get closer to her, the scent of jasmine oil and a subtle hint of mint intoxicates me. Her lips are supple and have a slight amount of pink lipstick. Oh, she's preparing for this, isn't she? I return my attention to the movie. As such, I'd love to stare at Yuri all day. I want to be able to talk about the movie after we watch it. The narrator continues to talk about the wife. My nose won't stop itching. I'll be right back, guys. If it's one thing I freaking hate, it's when one of your nostrils gets covered up completely, but the other nostrils just barely getting by, and it's not a comfortable feeling, because then at that point you start to breathe out your mouth and it's just a really loud breathe and it's not comfortable at all, and it just sucks. And that's basically what just happened. Like, one of my nostrils got completely flooded, and it was so hard to breathe, so I just had to blow. She loved the diamond-encrusted knife with the elegant design and kept it in a pristine condition. However, his wife later passed away, leaving behind her beloved knife. Not long after that, group of men arrived at the man's house trying to have the land donated to them, which the man swiftly declined. Tension continued to rise between the father and the son, as they were unable to cope with the loss of the woman who was a wife and a mother to them respectively. One day, the old man's son walked into his father's office. The father confronted him, and the son lashed out, throwing the chair he was sitting on and stormed out of the office, never returning to it. The old man went after him. With a pointed finger, he spewed condemning words at his son as he left. That's pretty interesting. Yuri raises her eyebrows as she is reminiscing about something. A saint is about her father. Does this tie in with the story of how her father, kind of left her or whatever? I wonder if that has any correlation to New Eyes, because that's where you learned about her father in New Eyes. But I wonder if that has any correlation to that. It'd be really cool if it was. The same day as he was driving home, he was gunned down after being rear-ended on a back road. Suspecting that it was a group of mysterious men, he worried for his son despite their arguments and decided to protect him as best he could. After a while, on one dark and frosty night, the men cut the power to the mansion and broke into the family home while wearing animal masks. Sounds like Grand Theft Auto, except not a mansion. While hiding from the invaders, the son is nearly found. As the music builds up, a door is nearly open, but the ghost distracts them. Yuri's feet are bouncing up and down slightly, her hands slightly shaking. I put an arm around her shoulder. For a moment, she stops moving altogether. Her shoulder and back tense up. Did I try it too soon? Yuri looks up at me as her face turns slightly red, then takes a deep breath and then she smiles. Her breathing slows down as I can feel her shoulders and back loosen up. Wait, she actually likes it? She returns her gaze back towards the movie. I crack a wide smile and breathe a slight sigh of relief. Using too many words that sound the same next to each other. I return to watching the movie. At this point, I'm surprised at how much I like this movie so far. It might just be because I'm with Yuri, but the tension from trying to stay alive is a lot more exciting than I thought it'd be. Yuri looks the way she is thoroughly enjoying it as well. He finds the knife in his parents' bedroom, grips it tightly, and tries to escape his home. As he finally manages to make it to the top of the stairs leading to the front hallway, he trips down the stairs. He lays on the floor as he tries to hide the knife as he quickly is surrounded by well-armed, masked men. At this point, sirens are heard in the distance. They begin to surround him as one rushes up and points a gun at his head. The knife ends up falling out of the jacket, and one of the criminals picks it up. I hold my breath. The police burst through the door. The ghost then has to make a decision. One is pointing a gun at his son, while another has already started to run away with a knife in his hand. At the end, he throws a vase. What the frick? Yo! Did you hear that? That was pretty embarrassing. I said vase. I'm not a British guy. What are you talking about? A vase. That's how you pronounce it here in America. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Nothing against British people or English people, but I am not English. So that was really embarrassing the way I said that. I don't understand why I did that. It just kind of sort of happened. I really don't know why. But it's vase, not vase. He throws a vase at the one threatening his son, letting a criminal with the knife run away. I turn to Yuri and see how she's reacting. Her eyes begin to water. I don't know what to do. Or how are guys supposed to act in this situation? She's a ghost! She was a ghost the entire time! She just flew off! I pull Yuri in and hold her closer. Most of the men get away, but the son is saved. The father, while no one can see him, drifts towards the son's ear. You aren't the only phantom left on Earth that's tied to what has happened. So, live all you can without holding on to something that only holds you back. He fades away as both the son and Yuri starts crying. The criminals get away, but the police inform the young guy that they're tracking the criminal's vehicle. Wiping away the tears from his eyes, the son has a confident expression on his face as he listens. The movie cuts to a scene where he's talking with his girlfriend, reminiscing about his parents. The young guy recalls his father's encouraging words as the girl gives her an understanding smile. Then a kiss. Things get very steamy as a rather explicit scene comes on. Oh, no. As Yuri begins to breathe incredibly heavy, I look over at her and see that she's biting down hard on her lower lip. Just a few moments later, she stands up. I need a minute. Oh no, is she gonna go cut herself? I hope not. With this, she quickly walks out of the theater. The movie continues for a few minutes and I'm getting concerned to her. I decide to check up on her. She's sad. She got very emotional. She's standing in the hallway leaning against the wall with her arms behind her back. Her face is scarlet as she slows her breathing down. We make eye contact. She looks down and holds her hands tightly together. Hey, you alright? Yuri looks at Alyssa for a moment. Yeah, I was just startled at the inclusion of the scene that just at the end. Yeah, I get you. It took me by surprise as well. Yuri then glances at my lips for a split second and lets out a deep sigh. I'm having a hard time pinpointing our exact intentions, but we should probably continue with our date. Hey, you want to go walk around town? Yes, I could use some fresh air right now. Yuri's arms loosen up as she stops gripping her hands tightly together. At this point, ooh, look at this. The text is no longer yellow, it's actually purple now. Was that in another story playthrough at all, or is it the first time we come across this? Because I like the purple. I love the purple. Like, I love the yellow too, but the purple's just really cool when it's like, it's summertime, like, for, yellow, but then, like, when it's nighttime, it's like a purple. So I feel like daytime would be yellow and nighttime would be purple, and I like the idea of that. At this point, it's turning to dusk outside when the lights... Did I read this already? I don't know. Coming on, the stars begin to shine. We walk out of the movie theater, and a rather chilly breeze passes through my clothes. I notice that Yuri is starting to shiver a bit. I walk closer to her and offer her my arm. She smiles as she locks her arm with mine. This helps us both. This helps us warm both of us up somewhat. As I can't read. I'm sorry. As we walk around, a thought pops into my head. Hey Yuri. She looks up with me with a slight yet glowing smile. Yes, Devin? I kind of like this movie, but I remember that you looked like you were in deep thought at certain parts of it. She looks away and lets out a quiet sigh. The movie actually reminded me of various aspects of my personal life. Called it. She played. Well, we don't know for sure yet, but I'm almost certain that that's what it's going to turn into. She places her left hand on the side of her face and she goes on. When the father and son were arguing with each other, it reminded me of how Natsuki, not her father, it's Natsuki. How Natsuki and I can get it sometimes. Her eyes then widen with her cheeks heating up. Not that we'd ever get violent towards each other, of course. Yeah, I get you. When you're close to someone, sometimes you get into bigger fights that affect you more than you first think. Yuri's eyes light up. I noticed that we ended up walking a bit closer together. Something similar happens when my mom and I get into fights from time to time. She looks at me with eyebrows slightly raised and her head tilted slightly to my right. May I ask what about? I try to think of a way to explain it to her that I simply didn't like going out that much. She's more introverted. It's a bit risky, but I'd rather tell her the truth since I think she'd understand where I'm coming from. During the school year, she told me to join a club and try to be more social. After a while, she ended up becoming more persistent with wanting me to go out to talk to people. I didn't feel right. I didn't feel right since I don't like being forced to do things. She told me at one point I need to get out of the house more and do stuff away from home. Yuri holds on to me slightly tighter as another breeze passes by. She doesn't loosen her grip. I argued with her quite a bit, and things ended up a bit patchy between us. After she said that she would let me buy as much pancake as perfectly poofy paradise pancake, what the frick, as I wanted when I went out for trips, I caved in. She chuckles. My, you really do love pancakes, don't you? Well, I don't just love any pancake. If it isn't quadruple peas pancakes, then it's just another one of the same. It just isn't on the same level. Again, she chuckles softly. I understand the sentiment. I absolutely love oolong tea, and lots of other teas simply aren't up to par in my opinion. But back to the point you had earlier. It can be rather difficult to interact with new people and leave your comfort zone. Yeah, I've been telling her just that. Sorry, my nose, my mustache is itchy. It started with small errands here and there going around town at first. One day I ended up seeing Sayori and Monica not long ago after getting used to going out more. I believe I understand where you're coming from. I used to have a hard time interacting with others or even talking much when the topic wasn't literature. Things started to change when I joined the literature club. Getting to know the others helped me learn how to communicate better. Although sometimes I felt like I took a step backwards when I had disagreements with Natsuki. She looks away. We ended up having some more difficult fights, but over time we learned to accept our differences. Whenever we had a big fight, Natsuki usually made cupcakes, and I made tea to apologize to each other. Now I think she's one of my closest friends. That sounds really nice, Yuri. I'm glad that you two are such close friends, or you have such close friends. I also learned how to appreciate conversations that are not as in-depth and complex. I have a habit of overthinking things and used to only aim for deep conversation with people, which typically meant that I had none except with my family. And now here I am, talking to you, about something more other than literature. She seems to have grown a fair bit to get to where she is now. I don't mind deep conversations here and there, when I have a clue what's going on. You know, like when we talked about why the chicken crossed the road. It caught me off guard, but it's something that makes me think more than you normally do. As we talk and walk downtown, we end up looking at different sites from buildings to monuments. We pass by the bookstore to see that they started putting up quotes about some of the books. One of them has a very ominous quote that I can't wrap my head around. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers, the body I've lost, the comrades I've lost. It won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still here. You feel it too, don't you? Sounds sad. This reminds me. So, do you only read horror novels? I tend to read those the most, but you know I like a lot of things. Stories with deep psychological, I didn't even say that right to begin with, that was so bad. Elements usually immerse me as well. Isn't it amazing how a writer can so deliberately take advantage of your own lack of imagination to completely throw you for a loop? She suddenly goes silent as if something just occurred to her. Devin, do you know what deja vu is? She said this in the club room. I know exactly what she's talking about. She literally said this in the club room. Isn't this when you feel like you did something that never actually happened? Yes, that feeling washed over me just now. Whoa, same. Deja vu. I've just been in this place before. Higher on the street. Weird. We continue to walk and eventually have our conversation loop back to the movie. What was your favorite part of the movie? Yuri paused to think for a moment. It was probably when the Phantom saved his son from the criminals. I recall how she started to cry when the scene happened, especially when the Phantom told his son to let go of the past. I apologize for getting emotional. It's just the movie reminds me of a poem I wrote quite a while ago. After seeing the ghost whisper to his son, I think I found an answer to a question that I've had for a long time. Oh, what question is that, if I might ask? Well, the past has great significance in shaping us into who we are, yet it can also shackle us. We lean more into each other. I had feelings of, well, attachment to the past. I have some feelings of comfort when reflecting upon memories and what filled me with joy. However, I felt like a ghost who couldn't let go of the past, wishing to spend forever reminiscing. The memories, though, would only leave me feeling empty when I realized that they were forever gone. So I wondered, what can I do to stop feeling the void in my heart? Yuri's face turns beet red as her voice quivered for a moment. Then I finally realized. She looks up at me. My face turns scarlet. Our history is important and we should not be forgotten. However, Yuri parts her hair and my heart is racing. We should focus on making memories. A thought pops into my head. And face the future with those we hold dear. I take her hand in mine. She seems to be taken aback. Then smiles at me softly. I flicker back. That reminds me of the poem. I flicker back. Is that the poem she was talking about? At this point, the night, oh yeah, the ghost or whatever, the ghost poem. When I asked her if she was into ghosts back in the original game. That's pretty cool. At this point, the night is growing fairly cold. I wouldn't recommend we go inside somewhere to grab a bite to eat, but my wallet is empty as Sayori's stomach normally is. We end up at a bus stop. Would you like to wait for the bus here? Yuri looks like she's about to suggest something else, but the wind starts to pick up more and the storm clouds are forming. Yes, that's probably a good idea. We sit there enjoying each other's company. Hey, Devin. She sits up more and looks at me from the side. Yes, Yuri? Perhaps this is just me, but I enjoy just walking around even if we aren't doing anything in particular. She lets out her breath slowly. I think that when you are doing anything that doesn't require much focus, it allows for people to connect with each other just as well as when we do something extraordinary. It's nice when you can focus on others more than activity itself. Yeah, I agree. Although it's nice when we can do things together to talk about later. I pause to think of something. But it can be nice to mix it up here and there. The bus ends up arriving after a few minutes. We proceed to get on the empty bus as Yuri and I sit next to each other on the wow, I can't read, near the back. It starts drizzling somewhat, but nothing too intense. I hold her hand again as we look out the window watching the rain fall. As she looks outside, she looks up towards the sky. When I see this kind of weather, sometimes I get curious. Is ours the only planet that has people that can experience this? What do you mean? Well, I just sometimes wonder if we're the only intelligent beings in the universe. The chances of there being life somewhere in the vast openness of space makes it seem that there must be at least a chance of it. In some of the stories I read, the main characters go out to explore the universe. They meet a variety of intelligent beings and new perspectives that they learn from. For this intelligent life form, it may be a foreign concept, and perhaps a terrifying experience to see water falling from above. Look, I appreciate you calling me intelligent, but I'm not afraid of taking a shower, okay? She looks away and I assume she rolls her eyes at my attempt at humor. Oh, stop it, you. But yeah, I guess you've never seen or heard of it. It can be pretty shocking. Then she looks at me, her brow slightly raised. Sometimes I feel like I'm an alien myself. This catches me by surprise. What do you mean by that? Although, as I said before, it has improved since I joined the literature club. Sometimes I still feel that I can have trouble connecting with people. Even when I try to understand myself, some of my feelings are alien to me. She begins to turn towards me more. She squeezes my hand gently. I just don't know if I can truly connect with people anymore. Years ago, I used to be made fun of for being different. People would make comments about me talking to others since I've always been somewhat shy. When people stopped trying to talk to me instead of trying to provoke me in order to have me react, I closed myself off more and more. I ended up in a loop of sorts? Yes, unfortunately, I'm still having trouble understanding myself in these feelings. At this point, the wind is picking up and it is starting to rain harder as we approach Yuri's stop. This is my stop. It's been wonderful talking to you today, Devin. As she starts getting up to leave, I stop her momentarily. Hey, it's storming out there. I pull out my umbrella. You want me to walk you home? Plus, I want to try to better understand what she means. I don't want the end of conversation with her being left to feel the way she does. Why, thank you. It would be appreciated since I forgot my umbrella at home. We got off the bus as we walked towards Yuri's house, both of us underneath my umbrella. Yay, it's our house from New Eyes. Hey Yuri, we make eye contact, yes? Taking a deep breath, I stop for a moment. You don't have to feel alone. I know that I haven't gone through everything you have, but you aren't alone anymore. If you ever want to talk to someone, even if I don't always get what you mean, I'll be there for you. Her eyebrows go up slightly, and she pauses for a moment. She smiles at me with her cheeks turned rosy. Thank you. That means a lot to me. She takes a deep breath. You know, this reminds me of one of my favorite books. How a young princess is locked up in a tower, dreaming of the world outside of her castle, but is always too shy to try and break free. She looks up at the stars and wants to leave, but is afraid of what waits outside of her walls. Then one day, an unlikely prince ends up at her window one day. Did you just say one day twice? One day. Yep. At first, she is nervous as she never interacted with many people, let alone someone who is unfamiliar to her. Over time, though, thoughts started to swirl in her head. Some nights are beyond restless, with dreams about the prince when he was away. One day, the prince asked her to accompany him outside of the walls for an adventure. She was nervous, but decided to leave the safety of the walls since she felt that she could trust him. Gradually, she ended up seeing the prince more and more in detail as his better points were found over time. She drew closer and closer to him as time went on. After a small adventure, she ended up being taken back to her castle. Yet she felt like she didn't want the adventure to end. Her eyes began to look into mine, away, back to mine again, and again in between each line. The princess realized that she had feelings that were foreign to her. They began to almost overwhelm her. Her breathing speeds up slightly. When the prince held her close, she never wanted to let him go. She realized that even if the world could be a terrifying place, so as long as she was with them, she could still walk outside of her walls. Taking her hand in mine, my body starts getting warmer. She wanted to be with him more and more, and began to have ravenous beasts inside of her, pushing her to completely unfamiliar territory, but with fear holding her back. The young woman wished that the prince would see her the way she saw him. And she finally realized that regardless of everything else, having found someone like him was one of the best things to happen to her. Then feelings of terror arise as she fears of what would happen should the prince ever never return to her side. Then she ends up alone with her thoughts once again. At this point, oh no, the music stops, so you know it's going to get good. At this point, we are shoulder to shoulder, almost leaning in on each other. I don't entirely get what she means, but I feel that it's important. Yuri, I look at her straight in the eyes as we stand only inches apart from under my umbrella. Stories are great and all, but remember to live yours as well. We can learn about many inspiring people with feelings that we relate to. Just remember that even if the characters or stories or whatever ends, we still have ours to write. It's the same thing for songs or movies or literature or what have you. I brush her hair from her face as she blushes bright red while her eyes light up. She ends up looking at me directly again and we end up staring at each other's eyes. I feel my heart thumping out of my chest as I feel the warmth of Yuri's face. This just feels right. Our heads slowly move closer together until we are just inches away from each other. Oh boy! Oh, it's her mother! Oh no! Yuri's cold outside, come on in! Oh, she's gonna see me and get so mad. We turn around and I see the purple hair woman standing with the door open. Oh, yes, Mom! Yuri's face is completely flushed. Oh, is this your boyfriend? Mom! Oh, every parent ever just tries to do their very best to embarrass their kid. Yuri walks into her house quickly with her head down. You seem familiar. Oh, my freaking mouse DPI just went down for some reason. Have I seen you before? I put my umbrella down more. I don't think so, ma'am. That sounded convincing, right? I waved towards Yuri. Bye, Yuri. Today was fun. See you tomorrow. Farewell, Devin. She waves at me, and as I walk off before her mom can recognize me, I end up going back to the bus stop and catching the next bus. My head is filled with the day's events. Yuri and I grew much closer, and I feel like I'm finally starting to understand her more. It seems like she's always been lonely and just wanted to be close to someone. Although I'm not sure what she's meant by some things, like the story about the prince. I feel like it was a metaphor for something else, but then again, I could just be overthinking things. Either way, that doesn't change the fact that I want to spend more time with her. The bus ends up at my stop, and I get off. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna leave it here. I had fun with that so far. That was a really good episode. I enjoyed the movies. I enjoyed the whole date thing with Yuri. But it is about time that we end off. My back is killing me. My neck is kinky. But it's time to end off the video because I gotta get going places and stuff pretty soon. I gotta get ready, and I'm just a busy person. So without further ado, I think I am gonna leave it here. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'd love it if your channel, guys. I've got a Discord. Come check me out inside of YouTube. It's gonna be a fun time for all. Hope you guys enjoy this video as much as I did make it. Hope you guys in my next one. Goodbye.